there, very good evening and welcome to the news at 6, where we get you all the updates from across India and the world. I'm Tracy Shilshi and here are the headlines. Voting concludes for the 7th and final phase of elections in Uttar Pradesh. Over 51.69% voting recorded till 3 p.m. for 40 seats in the state. %85% voting recorded till 3 p.m. in the second and last phase of elections for the Manipur Assembly. Votes were polled for 22 seats in the state. Voting to take place in 2 seats in Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh tomorrow. Polls were postponed in Uttarakhand's Karnaprayag and UP's Alapur districts after the death of local candidates. And security forces killed the alleged member of the Islamic State after a prolonged operation in Lucknow's Thakurganj area. The suspect was linked to the Bhopal-Ujjain train blast in Madhya Pradesh on Tuesday. First, the second half of the budget session is all set to begin on Thursday. While the government is looking at getting the Parliament's nod on several bills, including some GST legislations, the opposition parties have given notices for a discussion on various issues. Here's a report.
After a 2-month-long bitter electoral campaign in 5 states, political leaders are all set to return to Parliament for the second half of the budget session from Thursday. In addition to concluding the discussion on general budget, the government is hoping to getting parliamentary approval for the sum of its bill, including the laws related to the GST regime.
अच्छा बहस हो जाए विषयों के बारे में, बजट का सत्र है, इसलिए बजट के बारे में विस्तार से चर्चा के लिए सरकार तैयार है। मैं चाहता हूं सभी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज भी इस सेशन को सार्थक बनाने के लिए सब लोग से सहयोग हम लोग चाहते हैं।
The opposition parties on the other side are planning to corner the government on several issues. While the main opposition Congress is likely to raise the issue of recent protest in Delhi University, others have given notices on different issues. Trinamool Congress has given notice under Rule 267 on the issue of Aadhaar cards being made compulsory for infants and midday meals. DMK MP Kanimuri has also given notice under the same rules on the issue of Tamil Nadu fishermen. The proceedings in the upper house are likely to be adjourned on Thursday after paying respects to Congress MP Hajil Abdul Salam, who had passed away during the session break. With the results of assembly polls set to be announced on March 11th, both the houses are likely to witness a lot of action after a 3-day break for Holi. Vishal Dahiya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And on that note, let's get you the latest from the ongoing assembly elections in Verdict 2017. Uttar Pradesh registered a turnout of 56% till 4 p.m. in the 7th phase of assembly elections today. Voter turnout, remember, on these seats was 57.92% in the 2012 assembly polls. 40 constituencies, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Lok Sabha constituency Varanasi, went to elections today. The final leg of the elections had witnessed extensive campaigning from stalwarts of the leading parties.
The 7th and final phase of elections in Uttar Pradesh concluded on Wednesday. Elaborate security arrangements were made in all districts where polling took place without major disruptions. Technical snags in electronic voting machines were reported in Mirzapur and Badoi. In Jaunpur, Harendra Pratap Singh, the BJP candidate from Jafarabad, and 4 others were arrested for allegedly carrying voters to polling booths in 2 vehicles. Senior BJP leader Murli Manohar Joshi cast his vote in Varanasi, while Apna Dal leader and Union Minister Anupriya Patel cast her vote in Mirzapur.
जहाँ तक हमारे गठबंधन का सवाल है तो मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि हम एक-एक सीट जीतने जा रहे हैं और उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर अगली सरकार एनडीए गठबंधन की ही बनेगी।
Many women and senior citizens queued up outside the polling stations to cast their votes.
First of all, we want change. We want UP out of crime. Education. Education is must.
विकास वाली सरकार आवे और बुनकर के लिए काम करे। बुनकर देश में स्थिति बहुत चौपट है। बुनकर के मुद्दे है बिजली मिले, पावर लूम कायदे से चले और
हम दिया कि अच्छी सरकार मिले, जनता का काम हो, विकास हो और क्या चाहिए।
इस बार हम लोग को जो नारा दिया गया है कि कहो दिल से अखिलेश फिर से, हाँ, ये हम लोग को अखिलेश को लाना है।
7 districts including Ghazipur, Varanasi, Chandauli, Mirzapur, Vadoi, Sonbhadra and Jaunpur went to polls on Wednesday. The results will be declared on March 11th along with those of Manipur, Uttarakhand, Goa and Punjab.
It's a spectacular way to celebrate International Women's Day and see an overwhelming participation of women in this democratic process. Since morning, women have come out in large numbers to exercise their franchise. There has been an upsurge in women voter turnout, and in 2014, the turnout touched a record mark of 65%. The Election Commission this time around has unleashed a barrage of measures to motivate women voters so that they come out in large numbers and exercise their franchise. Reporting from Varanasi, with camera person Arvind, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, Kriti Mishra is joining us now live from Varanasi, and we also have Akhilesh Suman who's joining us live from Imphal to give us a sense of how things are panning out in Manipur. But first, Kriti, if I could come to you, like we said yesterday, of course, you were in the hotbed of really where the activity as far as the 7th phase was concerned was eventually concentrated upon rallies. And, we'll have to wait and see on the 11th what eventually comes out to be as the result. But what's the sense that you got from the people there? Were they excited that, this 2-month-long exercise is finally ending and they will find out who eventually is going to be the winner?
Well, yes, absolutely, Tracy. As far as the voters were concerned, they were exuberant to actually cast their votes. There were a number of issues related to development, of course, that they aired their grievance about. But also, Tracy, this is the irony of our society that probably caste, community and religion, that also played an extremely crucial role in these elections. But Tracy, remember, there's no discernible wave this time around as we saw in 2014 or even in 2012. And all the major political parties are claiming that they would emerge victorious. So it's extremely difficult to see and to say actually who would enjoy the competitive edge. But certainly, March 11th will give us explicit figures. Tracy?
Absolutely. Of course, there is still one more seat to go in UP as far as Alapur is concerned. But apart from that, we do have these premature celebrations that eventually happen when it comes to parties, and once the phase ends, or once the election voting process ends. Any kind of celebrations that you're hearing from any of the parties?
Well, Tracy, may not be celebrations, but I was talking to a senior BJP leader and I was asking about the permutations and the combinations that probably the party is thinking upon. So the leader completely said that they are not thinking about any kind of alliance, but they're thinking about who would be the next chief ministerial candidate. As far as the alliance is concerned, they're actually working upon the scenario when they get a majority or when they fall short of majority. What are the kinds of smaller parties and the smaller players that they can get on board? And as far as BSP is concerned, they are absolutely confident that they'll win the majority. But certainly all the political parties are claiming that. But we shall get to know and we shall get to see the real picture on March 11th.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're also waiting to see the picture that comes out not just of UP but the other states and Manipur as well. A record 85% turnout has been registered in the 2nd phase of polling that took place in the state today, while Congress and the BJP are in a tough fight in all the 22 seats that went to polls. Irom Sharmila's Praja Party is the new entrant. She is in a direct contest with the Chief Minister Ibobi Singh in the Thoubal seat. Barring a few incidents of clashes between communities and party workers, the election remained peaceful largely. Counting, of course, for both the phases will take place on the 11th of March.
For the last 4 months, the Senapati area was one of the worst affected by United Naga Council economic blockade. But on Wednesday, the place was bustling with people queuing up to cast their vote. Right since 5 a.m., a trend that continued till 3 p.m.
Related to this prevailing situation, Problem Naga are one in favor of to stand for this program. We need support, public support, or the majority of the people are supportive in favor of the this prevailing situation problem.
The youth and girls are voting for the government that will give them jobs and development.
A free job, because even the merit student people, they are not elected, and then only those who are not qualified, they are elected by giving money and all. That is what I want, because even the merit student people, they are not elected, and then we're unemployed.
सुविधा के लिए हम लोग के जितना हो सके सुविधा मिलने से अच्छा है. रास्ता वगैरह का सब मुसीबत है यहाँ पे, गाड़ी वगैरह बंदी चलती है, उसके लिए भी हम लोग को असुविधा हो रही है.
रास्ता भी खराबी है, आदमी गाड़ी चलने का भी और आदमी चलने का रास्ता भी इतना अच्छा नहीं है.
Polling was equally healthy in Thobal, the home constituency of Chief Minister Ibobi Singh, where he is up against Erom Sharmila.
Every citizen of this country has right to contest. Let her also contest. We are extremely happy. We are always most welcome. When he was in the hospital, and by the time also I appealed to her, please break your fast and democratically let us fight your aims and objective. Let us fight together. That is common.
All right, Akhilesh Suman, in fact, joining us now live from Imphal. Akhilesh, we understand you, of course, have been going to all these districts. You also paid a visit to Thobal, and you got a sense of the people there. As far as the voting percentage is concerned, it seems like everyone is trying to make their vote count. You have a record percentage of 87% that you saw in the first phase, and it seems that we may be surpassing that in the second phase as well.
Yeah, right, Tracy. I think that just now, after a few minutes, Chief Electoral Officer of Manipur will announce what is the percentage. But that announcement also cannot be final because you know that there was long queue even after 3 p.m. I was there in polling booth right at 6:30 a.m. and I was seeing that constantly people are coming, people are coming, people are coming. And when I left there at 3 p.m., people were there in almost equal numbers. And this was the situation in almost every booth of this phase of election. So you can understand that people have come in the fullest possible numbers in this phase of election, given the fact that the valley area has registered a large number of turnout. So I think that it is going to be very interesting in this phase also. But as far as the area, whole area is concerned, I was standing at a place that was undergoing economic blockade for 4 months. And I was asking people that how are you combating? You are facing the economic blockade, either you are participating in the economic blockade and again you are coming to poll the vote. They were very clear that yes, this stalemate may continue for some time, but we have to raise our voice even in the electoral politics also. So it was, for Manipur, I think it is a situation of change. The whole air in Manipur has changed, and this time I didn't see any violence, major violence, but there was some snatching of identity cards, voter identity cards at some of the booths, but there was no violence at all, Tracy, and everyone is quite satisfied with this stage of election.
Absolutely, and as I pointed out even earlier, as far as those underground groups are concerned, for the first time perhaps we're seeing that there's no boycott call really for any of these polling booths or for that matter the voting process in itself. So that's different on its own. We're talking about a different election this time around. Things were different in Thobal too. I mean, you have Erom Sharmila who's contesting against the Chief Minister, a first kind of an opponent of sorts that the Chief Minister himself is facing as far as a prominent face is concerned. And you not just have the local media, but you also have the national media there trying to track developments, and that in itself was different as well for this election.
Yeah, right, Tracy. It was very good that Erom Sharmila is fighting from Thobal constituency right against Chief Minister Ibobi Singh. But because it also could reflect the whole attitude of the power here, and Ibobi Singh has also shown a very grand face that he never criticized Erom Sharmila. Rather, he is telling that I was telling her to break the fast and come and vote and fight the electoral process. And if you compare it with the same nuances that was when Arvind Kejriwal was fighting election in Delhi, was not fighting election in Delhi, and he was undergoing movement. The challenges were being put on Arvind Kejriwal that yes, you come and fight the election. But it was a harsher way. But this time, Ibobi Singh is trying to show very mild face, and he is trying to say that yes, I welcome people should come and fight. Everyone is free. Yes. And I went to Thobal. Situation was very normal. Everyone was talking in their own way, but nobody was attacking Erom Sharmila the way we have seen attacks on the opponents by Congress and BJP members in the past in the various states. Yeah. So this time now, it is very healthy situation in Manipur, Tracy. I can say that every type of electorate, the Manipuris are a bit shy to speak about what is their choice.
Absolutely,
But
and we'll
they
have to
give
wait
you
and
enough
see.
hint that
Yes,
what they
and the
want
very
to
fact that so much numbers have come out to vote, they are trying to make every vote count. And on the 11th, of course, we'll see what eventually happens. Thank you to both of you for joining me. But right now, let's go across to the press conference that's coming in from the Election Commission.
अखिलेश यादव के केस में क्या हुआ है, रिप्लाई उन्होंने दिया था, क्या कॉम्प्लिकेशन है, और मतगणना के कितने केंद्र उत्तर प्रदेश में बनाए गए?
So far as the issue of Mr. Akhilesh Yadav is concerned, we had issued show cause notice to him, and they have not been able to open that CD, so they have informed us. We have again given them CD and given them time till tomorrow to respond, and action will follow immediately after the receipt of that.
Sir, you mentioned that you're 60.03% this time around in UP. Can you give us some kind of idea how much more is likely to go to previous?
Not possible exactly, but yes, there were few people waiting, so it might increase marginally more.
1% is there any indication?
No.
Sir,
It will not be given.
Counting center he asked.
Yeah, all the district headquarters. Yeah. No, definitely the voting percentage has gone high, and in the context of UP, if you see, I think it has been a good voter turnout. देखिए, बीच में फेज बाय फेज आपको हम बताते रहे थे, कहीं कहीं से अलग अलग इश्यूज के ऊपर, जिसमें कि विकास के, डेवलपमेंट के कुछ इश्यूज के ऊपर अलग अलग फेजेस में कुछ जगहों से इस तरह की सूचनाएं आई थी, लेकिन कुछ जगहों पे उनमें से वहां पे समझाने बुझाने से और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के जाने से चालू हो गए थे। इस फेज में हमारे पास 2 जगह की रिपोर्ट आई, जिसमें से एक जगह पे चालू हो गया था, ये मिर्जापुर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में थे।
सर, ऐसे आपके पास रिकॉर्ड सीजन हुआ है इस बार, इसकी वजह क्या रही है और इस मामले में क्या गिरफ्तारियां हैं और क्या ये किसी?
All right, so there you have the press conference of the Election Commission, where the officer, of course, was talking about the fact about how in UP especially we've seen a higher percentage of voting as compared to the other years, and that in itself is a positive change. Meanwhile, polling, of course, in Alapur constituency in Ambedkar Nagar of UP will take place tomorrow. The voting for this was in fact postponed after the SP candidate Chandrasekhar Kanojia had died of a heart attack while campaigning in Ambedkar Nagar on the 12th of February. Polling in the constituency was scheduled for 15th of February, and after the candidate's death, SP fielded his widow, Sangeeta Chaudhary, in the election. Polling for Uttarakhand's Karnaprayag seat will also take place tomorrow after the February 15th election was postponed following the death of BSP candidate Kuldeep Singh Kawasi in a road accident. On to more national news. And Aseem Anand and 6 others accused in the 2007 Ajmer Dargah blast have been acquitted. 3 others have been convicted by a special National Investigation Agency court in Jaipur. Aseem Anand, who goes by the name Swami Aseem Anand, was accused of masterminding the blast. Those convicted are Sunil Joshi, who has since died, Devendra Gupta and Bhavesh Patel. A total of 13 people were accused in the case. These 3, in fact, are still on the run. On the evening of the 11th of October in 2007, a powerful bomb went off in the compound of the Ajmer Sharif Dargah, killing 3 people and wounding 15 others. Judge Charchid had accused a section of radicalized Hindus associated with the RSS of carrying out the blasts at Ajmer Dargah and also the Makkah Masjid in Hyderabad. This was claimed to be in retaliation to the 2002 attack on the Amarnath Yatra and the Raghunath Temple in Jammu, allegedly by Muslim terror outfits. A suspected terrorist was killed in the wee hours of Wednesday. The anti-terrorism squad confirmed that the slain suspect was an active member of the ISIS. The police also refuted reports that 2 terror suspects were holed up in a house in the outskirts of Lucknow. According to the police, Saifullah is expected to be involved in an IED blast that ripped through the coach of a passenger train in central Madhya Pradesh on Tuesday.
A 10-hour-long encounter ended on Wednesday with the anti-terrorism squad gunning down a suspected Islamic State member in Lucknow. The slain militant was identified as Saifullah.
हम लोगों ने उसको स्टॉर्म किया, उसको वार्निंग देने के बाद में उसने फायर किया एटीएस कमांडोज के ऊपर और उसके प्रत्युत्तर में हम लोगों ने भी फायर किया। इसके बाद में पूरे इलाके को प्रॉपर्ली चेक किया गया, दोनों कमरों को, और यहाँ पे सैफुल्लाह नाम का व्यक्ति जिसको कि पहचाना गया है वो मिला है और वो डेड है।
Saifullah was hiding in a house in the Thakurganj area when the local police and the ATS launched a search operation for him on Tuesday. He was suspected to be involved in an IED blast in the Bhopal-Ujjain train near Jabdi station in the Shahjahanpur district of Madhya Pradesh on Tuesday. At least 10 people were injured, 3 very seriously.
हम लोग को टिप ऑफ मिला था कि ISIS से संबंधित एक सस्पेक्ट लखनऊ में इस स्थान पे छुपा हुआ है, जिसमें कि इस स्थान पे जहाँ हम लोग खड़े हैं घेराबंदी की गई और घेराबंदी करने के बाद में हम लोग ने पूरे टैक्टिक्स का प्रयोग करते हुए कोशिश की कि इस व्यक्ति यानी सैफुल्लाह को जीवित पकड़ा जाए।
Election means every inch of the state is under the surveillance of the law enforcing authorities. In spite of that, if terrorist attack can happen there, when the Prime Minister is crisscrossing the state, when all the senior leaders are there, campaign is going on, right under the nose of the law enforcing authorities, if this can happen, that shows the seriousness of the situation. Whatever is the explanation of the Home Minister of India, it is a fact that, law and order is not in the control of this government.
Security personnel first used chili bomb to flush him out when Saifullah refused to surrender after hours of negotiations. ATS Inspector General Asim Arun said they used explosives to blow up a wall to gain entry. Saifullah was killed during the exchange of fire when commandos stormed the house.
देखिए, ऐसा जो काम देश हित में नहीं किया उसने, इस वजह से हम उससे बहुत नाराज हैं और ऐसे हम देशद्रोही की लाश नहीं लेंगे।
An Islamic State flag, 8 pistols, 650 rounds of ammunition, 50 fired rounds, explosive materials, gold, cash, passports and SIM cards were recovered from the house. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And here are more national news updates in Nationwide. The government has made Aadhaar cards mandatory for poor women to avail free cooking gas connections under the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. This after the unique identification number was made a must for subsidies in LPG. The Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana was launched last year to provide 5 crore poor women with free LPG connections in 3 years to provide clean cooking fuel. Women without the Aadhaar number have been asked to apply for it by the 31st of May. The O Pannirselvam-led AIADMK faction is observing a day-long fast in Chennai and other district capitals of Tamil Nadu, demanding an immediate probe into the death of the former Chief Minister Jayalalitha. A 12-member delegation had also submitted a memorandum to the President seeking a probe. The state government on Monday cited reports from Apollo Hospitals and AIIMS to state that the cause of Jayalalitha's death was a massive cardiac arrest. The Supreme Court has once again refused to entertain real estate tycoon Gopal Ansal's plea for seeking more time to surrender in the Upar fire tragedy case. The court said that Gopal will have to surrender on Thursday. Last week, the Supreme Court turned down Gopal's petition to be granted liberty not to surrender till the hearing of his appeal. A 48,000 crore rupee budget for Delhi was presented on Wednesday by the Aam Aadmi Party government. This time around, the focus was on improving transport, health, water distribution and education infrastructure. 11,300 crore rupees was allotted to the education sector. 1,156 crores has been set aside for the Phase 4 of the Delhi Metro, while 100 crores has been earmarked for developing bus terminals and depots. There was no proposal on levying any new tax. Our international news in Afghanistan continues to remain under Islamic State fires. Militants attacked a military hospital in the capital city of Kabul. At least 4 people were killed and over 60 injured in the attack, for which ISIS has claimed responsibility. Gunmen dressed as doctors and slipped into Afghanistan's largest military hospital, the Sardar Dawood Khan Hospital, and battled with security forces inside the building for hours. The attack began when a suicide bomber blew himself up at the rear of the hospital, and 3 attackers with automatic weapons and hand grenades entered the complex and started shooting. An attacker and a soldier were killed in the gunfight. The attack comes a week after 16 people were killed in simultaneous Taliban suicide assaults on 2 security compounds in Kabul. The Afghan president has condemned the attack.
جایی است که در هر قانون، در هر دین، در هر مذهب مسئول است. حمله بر شفاخانه، حمله بر تمام مردم افغانستان و بر تمام زنای افغانستان.
And finally, let's get you the latest from the world of sports in Sports Beat. The Indian spin duo of Ravichandran Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja were jointly ranked number 1 in the ICC Test rankings for bowlers on Wednesday. Jadeja joined Ashwin at the top after India's victory in the second test against Australia. Jadeja finished with 7 wickets while Ashwin picked up 8 in the match. The last time 2 bowlers shared the top spot was in April 2008 when Dale Steyn and Muttiah Muralidharan shared the honours. Indian women's hockey team notched up a 3-1 win over Belarus to register their 5th consecutive victory and clean sweep the Test Series 5-0 in Bhopal. Vandana Kataria, Gurjeet Kaul and Rani scored for India. Serena Williams has withdrawn from 2 major hardcore tournaments in March due to a knee injury. The 23-time Grand Slam champion will miss the BNP Paribas Open in Indian Wells and the Miami Open due to injury. As a result, she will relinquish the world number 1 ranking to German Angelique Kerber. In the Champions League, Real Madrid beat Napoli 3-1 in the second leg of the last 16 tie to advance to the quarterfinals. Sergio Ramos scored 2 goals as Madrid scored 6-2 on aggregate. In another tie, German champions Bayern Munich thrashed Arsenal 5-1 to reach the quarterfinals with a 10-2 aggregate score. That's it on the news at 6. Thanks for joining us.